Okay, hey guys. Sorry for the terrible quality, but I am shooting this on my phone and I don't have a tripod with me. I wanted to go through some of our ED, our elasticity demand, to make sure that we're all on board with the same page here. So I'm going to just erase my little graph here that I was doing for practice to make sure I had enough space, because we're going to do this step by step real quick. Okay. So let me just switch my marker back to black. So I'm using the Ruth's Lemon Drop Shop that we used for problem 1, the one we did the other day in class. But instead of you guys finding points 3 and 4, I'm going to have us go ahead and find points 5 and 6. I'm going to upload this onto my YouTube and drop a link, as well as try to post this on Schoology. So if it doesn't work on one way, try the other. Okay, so since we're finding ED for points 5 and 6, we need to know what those are. So we're going to take our black pen for now, and then we're going to number them with the other colors. So at $4, 95 of them are sold. Remember, when we are making our graph, because 0 is right here in this big old corner, your lowest numbers are going to go on either side. So for anything in the price section, all your numbers are going to go on this side from lowest to highest. Down here for the quantity section, you're going to put all the other numbers from lowest to highest. Now you'll notice I have numbers like 50 and 40 on my chart, and I don't have them on here. But I know, because we're big brain in here, that between 45 and 35, that's where I would find 40. So we got that. Same for 50. We would know that between 45 and 55, that's where we would find 50. So we got this. So we're going to start with our first point. Actually, I am going to switch colors. I'm going to go for green for econ. So at $4, we sell 95. So we know that at $4, because our price is over here, price is going to be money, we sell 95, which is going to be over here. So I like to make these little dotted lines, because otherwise I'm going to lose my place. And then make a nice oversized dot. Gigantic. Because I don't want to lose it, I don't want it to get confused. Okay? We know at $5, we're selling 85 of them. So we go right up to $5, go over to 85. We're going to keep those lines going till they connect. Boom. Okay, and you keep going. So at $6, we're selling 65. Now you guys will notice I'm making these dots stupid big because I don't want to lose them. $7, we're selling 50. Now we don't have 50, but we know 50 is going to be right in between. So we know 50 is going to be right in between those two numbers, so it could go right there. And again, at $8, we don't have a 40, but we know where 40 is going to be. So we make our big old point right there. And then at $9, we're selling 25. So we can go right on up, right on over. Okay? And then we connect our dots, because this is a demand curve. Your line is not going to look pretty. I'm so sorry. It's not going to be pretty. I'll make that demand curve line in a different color so you guys can see it a little bit better. That demand curve line is not going to be pretty. That's because people's demand isn't going to be consistent. Just because something went up to $5, more people might find that reasonable than if it shoots up to $6. You're going to have some places where there's going to be a gap. That's why demand and slope are never going to be the same thing. Your elastic demand, your elasticity demand, that's what we're talking about. The amount that it changes, because elasticity, again, is like a rubber band. It's the amount that it changes. It's going to be more or less elastic depending on people's wants, because that's what demand is all about. It's about what the consumer wants. So from here, you're gonna label your points. We read left to right. So you're gonna label them left to right. So right here is point 1. Here, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Right across. So we already know, because I said it in the problem, we're going to be doing the elasticity demand for points 5 and 6. So if I come to my little chart, I see 5 and 6, I know it's these 2 points right here. Okay? So point 5 is what we're going to use for Q and P1. So for Q1 and for P1, I have Q go down to the quantity side at 85. I have my P over here. I follow my line back at $5. So for Q2 and for P2, I go to my lower number because this is second. That's first, that's second. It's just how it is. Whichever one comes first is going to be 1. Whichever one comes second is going to be 2. That's why we number them. So for Q2, it's going to be 95. And for P2, we're going to trace that line back on over. It's going to be $4. Okay? So now we have our points. We know what we're working with. So I'm going to shift this on over because we don't need that whole demand schedule anymore. We have all the points we need right here. Now we got to get into the nasty part, the actual math of it all. So our equation for this states that we have to start by finding our percent change in quantity. We do that by finding Q2 minus Q1 over Q2. That looks gross. Plus Q1 divided by 2. All of this is going to make a decimal. That decimal you need to multiply by 100 in order to get the percentage, because that's what we want. We want the percent. So you have to multiply by 100 to get that percent. So we're going to take this step by step. We're going to say Q1, 85. Q2, 95. Because that's what our chart says. That's what our chart tells us. So we're going to say, for the first part, 95 minus 85 over 95 plus 85 divided by 2. I'm just writing it out right now. Right now, that's all I'm doing. So I'm going to go ahead and take my calculator, whether it's one of my little ones that I have in class or it's one on my phone, and I'm just going to make sure, because who knows when my brain's going to freeze up on me. Okay? So we're going to say 95 minus 85 is going to give us 10. Nice and easy. Then we have to say 95 plus 85 equals 180. Now I could do that math in my head, but why would I want to guess myself? If I add these and they, that's a line. If I add them and they equal 180, I'm dividing that number by 2. So it's going to leave me with 90. So now you have 10 over 90. So you type in your calculator 10, then you hit the division sign, then you type in 90, then you hit the equal sign. It's going to give you 0.11 repeating. All that means is that's never going to end. So we're going to take this number, we're going to take 0.11, multiply it by 100, which means you're going to give me 11.11%. Because we always want to carry out to the second decimal place when we're giving us a final total. So this is step 1. That's all it is. So now we can note our percent change in quantity equals 11.11%. Okay? So next we're going to find the percent change in price. And it's going to be this simple. We're going to get rid of all this. And we're going to look over here and we're going to be like, percent change in quantity. Okay. We're going to erase all the Q's. And we're going to change them out for P's. And it's going to be the exact same thing. So P2 minus P1 over P2 plus P1 divided by 2. And all of this, again, is going to be multiplied by 100 because we're trying to find a percentage. So all of it's going to be multiplied by 100 because we're trying to find a percentage. So we know that P1 is 5. P2? Sorry. P2 is 4. So if we're saying P2 minus P1, we're going to be saying 4 minus 5 over 4 plus 5 divided by 2. Okay? So 4 minus 5 is going to equal negative 1. 4 plus 5 is going to equal 9. 9 divided by 2 equals 4.5. And yes, I did just double check myself on the calculator because I don't trust myself to do any math. So you're going to put in your calculator, 1. And if you don't know how to make it negative, you're going to put the minus sign and then 1. Oh, wait. I said that backwards. You're going to put 1 and then the minus sign. Maybe not. Either way, you're going to do 1 divided by 4.5. Doesn't really matter if it's negative. It's going to give you 2. So 0.22 repeating. So if we did that and we multiply it by 100, it's going to be 22.22%. So the most important thing to remember is when you get to this point where you have this decimal, you have to multiply it by 100. That's how you get the percentage. To take decimal to a percentage, you have to multiply it by 100. So now we have our percent change in P is 22.22%. It's kind of gross. I kind of hate those numbers, but it's okay. It is what it is. So we're going to get rid of all this. And now we're going to do the easiest part of it all. We're going to find ED, elasticity demand. We're finding how hard our rubber band is stretching. So for elasticity demand, you're going to be doing the percent change Q over the percent change P. So just in the order we found them, percent change Q divided by percent change P. That looks like a D. It is a P. There we go. So we're going to say 11.11 over 22.22. You can put the percentage signs. I'm not going to take off if you don't put the percentage signs. It's just whatever. So we're going to go in our calculator. We're going to type 11.11 divided by 22.22. And it's going to give you 0.5. That's your answer. That is the answer to ED. The other thing I asked you guys for is to tell me if that is inelastic, elastic, or at unit. So we need to remember, if it is elastic, that means it changes a lot. If it is elastic, that rubber band is stretching. And that also means it's going to be greater than 1. If it is at unit, it equals 1. And if it is inelastic, oop, not equal, hello, it is going to be less than 1. So, because 0.5 is less than 1, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that this is inelastic. Now, like I said earlier, this is not slope. The reason why it's not slope is because slope is going to be consistently along a line. This is going to follow the wants and desires of people. So people didn't care when the price changed from $4 to $5. It didn't change their minds. When the price changed from $4 to $5, it didn't affect demand that badly. However, just looking at this graph, I can tell you when it changed from $5 to $6, you have a pretty huge jump there. Like right here is a big jump. If I had to guess, which I don't really have to because we did the math, that's going to be elastic. The reason why I know that is because we did points 3 and 4 in class, and those were elastic. So if you have a bigger gap, it's going to be elastic. So whenever we're doing this, whenever we're finding ED, step 1, graph. Step 1, graph it. Step 2, find the points that you're going to be talking about. Write them out. Do this. It'll make it easier. You don't have to keep going back and forth. You have your numbers then. You know Q1 and P1 are going to be whichever point appears first, furthest to the left. That is your Q and P1. Q and P2 are going to be whichever one's further to the right. And then you're going to do the finding the percent change in quantity. That was the first thing we did with the math. Then you're going to find your percent change in price. Then you just go and plug them in after you find them. Plug them into your ED equation. This is your midpoint formula. This is the last bit of math you have to do. It's just taking the numbers you've already found, dividing them. Then with that answer, you're just going to tell me, what is it? Is it inelastic, elastic, or unit? I can almost guarantee you guys I will probably never give you a question that's to unit just because that takes too much work on my end. I'm just kidding. But you can see everything. Everything's right here. So, going back to our chart, if I told you to graph 2 different points, it's going to be all the exact same steps. If you need to scroll this back, like go back on this, watch this like 8 million times, it's fine. Nobody gets it the first chance. So this is what we're doing. What you guys have to do to turn in is very simply going to be looking at that other demand chart. The one for, I think it's like Forbes gas station. And you're going to do points 1 and 2. So find out your Q1 and your P1. That's not 1. And then find your Q2 and P2. Plug those numbers into your equations. And make sure you get your answers so that you can find ED. Okay? If you have any questions, comments, concerns, anything like that, please let me know. I am going to give you guys a new test. It's the same test basically, just different sets of questions, but same test. So we're going to retake the test. With that, with the retake for the test, whichever grade is higher, that's the one I'll take. So you have nothing to lose by retaking the test. The reason why I'm having us retake the test is simply just because I want you guys to do well. I don't like seeing my students struggle. I want you guys to succeed. So, go back, watch this again, go through the notes, do that problem for Forbes. You guys will have a different problem to do in class, but if you turn that problem in for Forbes, I will be giving you credit for it. I asked for you guys to get it done, I expect it done. So, everything that you're gonna have to do tomorrow, I just did right there. The only thing I did not do, I'm gonna scroll back real quick. I have this on your formula sheet and everything. I didn't have you guys do total revenue. The reason I didn't have you guys do total revenue is because it is brain dead, stupid, easy. And I don't need to see that you guys can multiply numbers in a monotonous way. If you need to do total revenue though, if I ever do ask you for total revenue, you take price and you take quantity and you just multiply them. The number that equals is your total revenue. So, if I'm doing this and I look at $4 being 95, take 4, you type in 95, you say 380. That's how much money you'll make if you sell all 95 of them. What I was asking is, at what price point do you make the most money? That's what I want you to find total revenue for. So if I do 5 times 85, it's going to be 425. If I do 6 times 65, it's going to be 390. If I do 7 times 50, 350. If I do 8 times 40, 320. And 9 times 25 is going to be 225. So, there's a reason for total revenue. The reasoning for total revenue is wherever your number is the highest, that is most likely the number that people in the market trying to sell are going to want to hit. That's where they see the most amount of revenue possible. So, total revenue is very simply price times quantity. If you guys don't see my picture that I'm uploading with this on Schoology, there should be a picture that just says equation sheet. I did it right on here, right before all the work. It's right there. So, if you don't have this down, please write it down. I'm letting you guys use your equation sheet and your notes on the test. I'm also uploading it's like a study guide. I stole it from somebody else, so it's not exact. I also uploaded links to the practice that we've done in class with the shifting of the demand curve and the quantity demand, the supply curve and the supply and the quantity supplied. So, I need you guys to make sure that you are checking Schoology because I do post a million bajillion resources. If you have any questions, any comments, any concerns, please hit me up on Schoology. You can send me an email, you can send me a message on Schoology. You can very simply post something in the comments to one of these. I will find it. I will try to get back to you as soon as I can. I will warn you guys that Thursdays and Fridays in the evenings, I'm usually kind of busy. But other than that, feel free to message me to High Heaven. I will try my best to get back to you.